How much did my wife used to love me? Back then, to marry me, she proposed 99 times. It wasn't until the 100th time that I was finally moved by her persistence. On our wedding day, I gave her 99 apology coupons, promising that as long as those apology coupons weren't used up, I would always be by her side. 5 years into our marriage, every time she went out with her dream girl, she would use up an apology coupon. When she used the 97th apology coupon, my wife suddenly realized I had changed. I no longer cried or begged her to stay. Only when she lost her mind over her young assistant did I quietly ask, "If you go with him, can I use an apology coupon?" The woman paused, a rare softness in her eyes. "Okay, you've only used 60-some, so go ahead." I hummed in response, letting her leave. Little did she know, that was her 97th apology coupon. And we only had 2 left. 1. Today was Carter Enterprises' celebration party for successfully securing the Eastwood project. It was also my 3rd day out of the hospital after liver surgery. But when Emily Carter's young assistant knocked over the champagne tower, spilling champagne on a client, Emily Carter's first reaction was to shield him behind her. Then, without hesitation, she instructed me, "Ethan Carter, apologize to Mr. Johnson." I froze, incredulous. The client frowned as well, angrily pointing at Chad Evans. "Mr. Carter, this gentleman made the mistake. I only want his apology." Chad Evans' eyes reddened, and he tugged at Emily Carter's sleeve as if he had suffered a great injustice. Emily Carter gently patted his hand, then looked at me, ignoring everything else. "What are you waiting for? Go toast Mr. Johnson. 1 glass isn't enough, then 2. If 2 isn't enough, then 3. You must appease Mr. Johnson." She forgot I couldn't drink after just being discharged from the hospital. Or maybe she just didn't care. The people around us couldn't help but whisper, their gazes full of pity. Everyone knew it wasn't my fault. Everyone could see that Emily Carter was determined to protect Chad Evans. I wanted to refuse, but Emily Carter seemed to anticipate it, mouthing the words, "apology coupon." Back when she wanted to marry me, Emily Carter had proposed 99 times, and I had rejected her 99 times. I thought she would give up, but on the 100th time Emily Carter invited all my family and friends and publicly vowed, "Ethan Carter, I'm only devoted to you in this lifetime. If you don't agree, I'll keep proposing until you agree to marry me." I was moved by her unwavering love and agreed. To repay her love, on our wedding night, I had 99 apology coupons specially made. We promised that as long as these apology coupons weren't used up, we would never separate. For the first 3 years, Emily Carter cherished them, never using a single one. Until Chad Evans appeared. In just 2 years, she had used 96. Now, it was the 97th. My fingers, holding the wine glass, turned slightly white. I forced a smile and walked to the client. "Mr. Johnson, I toast you." The client sighed, telling me to just take a sip. But I still smiled and finished the whole glass of wine. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Emily Carter affectionately flicking Chad Evans' nose, her voice gentle. "Silly boy, don't run so fast next time. What if you get hurt?" Chad Evans grabbed her hand, his eyes full of joy. "Got it, Ms. Carter. You're so good to me." "Yes, so good to you." The wine I drank belatedly choked my throat, causing my eyes to sting. "It's okay," I told myself. "Anyway, there are only 2 left." 2. After the party, I naturally opened the passenger seat door to get in the car. Just as I touched the door handle, I heard the click of the lock. Emily Carter rolled down the window, looking at me coldly. "Take a cab. I just washed my car. You reek of alcohol. It's disgusting." She seemed to have forgotten where the smell of alcohol on me came from. The disgust in her eyes was brighter than the street lights. If it were any other time, I probably would have anxiously drunk water, crying and trying to explain to her that it was just a little bit of wine, it wasn't that strong. Or I would have broken down in the street, my eyes red, and questioned her why she made me apologize for Chad Evans. But this time, I just smiled and nodded. Okay, be careful on the road. Emily Carter's hand on the steering wheel loosened, and she instinctively looked at me. Ethan Carter, you. Before she could finish, Chad Evans pushed me away with a smile. MS. Carter, I'm ready. Let's go. He was wearing Emily Carter's dress jacket, the stains from the spilled champagne emitting a pungent alcoholic odor. It must have been from when he knocked over the champagne tower earlier. But Emily Carter didn't mind at all. She not only opened the car door herself but also carefully tightened the dress jacket around him. It's cold outside. Don't catch a cold. After doing all this, she remembered to look at me, her eyes showing guilt. Don't misunderstand. I'm just looking out for Chad. He just graduated and doesn't know much. I nodded. I understand. Afraid she wouldn't believe me, I added, didn't you use an apology coupon? I won't be angry. Emily Carter paused, wanting to say something. Chad Evans sneezed, instantly attracting her attention again. Get home early. Leaving those words behind, the two drove away. Watching the car disappear into the distance, I couldn't help but shiver. Back at home, I rummaged through the closet and found the savings account and the piggy bank for the apology coupons. The paper slips that were once within easy reach now took me a long time to find. Finally, I managed to pull one out. Tearing up the 97th apology coupon, I turned on the computer and started drafting a divorce agreement with Emily Carter. To ensure fairness, I called my professor. Professor, if I want to divorce Emily Carter, how should the property be divided? My professor was surprised by my idea. Divorce? Why? The whole university knows that Emily pursued you and proposed 99 times. It's still a popular story at the university. Why are you getting a divorce now? Yes, how did it come to this? Maybe it started with the men's cologne that became heavier and heavier on her. From her increasingly frequent nights away from home. From the apology coupons and the piggy bank being used up one by one because of Chad Evans. I knew we couldn't go back. Seeing my silence, my professor stopped persuading me and just asked, I'll write the divorce agreement for you. When do you need it? I turned to look at the piggy bank, my voice soft. When Emily Carter uses her last 2 chances. As soon as I said that, the door was pushed open. What chances? Emily Carter walked in with a paper bag, her tone questioning. 3. Hanging up the phone, I calmly shut down the computer. It's nothing. I was talking to my professor about a divorce. Emily Carter's expression changed, and she rushed in front of me almost immediately. What divorce? You want to divorce me? I took 2 steps back, dismissing it. No, it's a case. My professor wanted my opinion. Only then did the woman breathe a sigh of relief, handing me the paper bag. For you. The pattern on the paper bag was from my favorite bakery. Before we got married, whenever Emily Carter made me angry, she would run to this shop to buy me a cake. This shop was also very popular, and every time you went to buy something, you had to wait in line for 2 hours. To appease me, she would personally wait in line, rain or shine, as long as I said I wanted to eat it. Sometimes I felt sorry for her and told her to find someone to run the errand. But Emily Carter would say, Ethan, it's okay. I'm willing to do it for you. Thinking of this, my heart warmed, and I couldn't help but smile as I took the paper bag and opened it. I didn't think you'd remember. What is this? I looked at her in shock, a bad feeling rising in my heart. The paper bag didn't contain the cake I thought it would. Instead, it had 2 pieces of clothing with the smell of alcohol. One was Emily Carter's dress jacket, and the other was the shirt Chad Evans wore tonight. Facing my question, Emily Carter was rarely embarrassed. Chad's clothes were dirty. I figured since you're used to doing housework, washing 1 or 2 pieces is the same. So, I just brought them back. After she finished speaking, she thought of something else and became self-righteous. At worst, I'll use another apology coupon. Anyway, there are so many left. It'll save you from being petty. All the words were stuck in my throat by the sentence. I wanted to tell her. Emily Carter, there aren't any left. There's only 1 apology coupon left out of those 99. But the words came to my lips, I just gave her a deep look, and then stuffed the clothes into the washing machine. In the past, to ensure her clothes were clean enough, I never used a washing machine. I would always scrub them myself, bit by bit. Looking back now, I was so stupid. My supposed consideration had become a free babysitting service in her eyes. Laughing self-deprecatingly, I closed the door and returned to the bedroom. Seeing me come back so quickly, Emily Carter paused. So fast? Did you wash them? This is Chad's favorite shirt. I promised him I'd have you wash it clean. I hummed in response and started washing up, wondering which dry cleaner offered pickup service. As I was thinking, a familiar phone rang outside. Emily Carter glanced at my expression cautiously, then took her phone and hid on the balcony. I quietly followed, just in time to hear Chad Evans's whining. MS. Carter, the cake you bought me was so delicious. I've never had such a delicious cake before. It's just that the wait was a little long. I felt a little bad. Emily Carter glanced at the bedroom and replied affectionately, It's okay, as long as you want to eat it, I'll buy it for you anytime. I'm willing to serve you. Chad Evans laughed, saying hypocritically, What about my shirt? Isn't it not good to let Mr. Carter wash it? I don't want to make things difficult for you. Emily Carter giggled. What's difficult about it? He's used to doing it. On the other hand, you have such beautiful hands. I'd feel sorry if you did rough work. I paused, instinctively looking at my hands. Because of doing housework all year round, the skin on my hands was indeed much rougher. No wonder she couldn't stand it. Not wanting to listen anymore, I fled to the bathroom in embarrassment. 10 minutes later, Emily Carter knocked on the door. Ethan, something came up at the office. I have to go. You go to bed early. I hummed in response. Just as she was about to leave, I suddenly spoke. Emily Carter, if you don't come home, can I use an apology coupon? I looked at her, the corners of my eyes still wet with tears I hadn't had time to wipe away. The woman paused, then immediately turned around. 4. Yes, you can, Emily Carter smiled at me, looking relaxed. Don't worry, I'll definitely be home before midnight. You definitely won't need the apology coupon. Looking at her face, which wasn't much different from 5 years ago, I suppressed the bitterness in my heart and smiled slightly. Okay, I'll wait for you. There were still 3 hours until midnight. I spent a lot of money to hire a delivery person to buy me a cake. Emily Carter's assistant, Sarah, posted a status on social media, complaining that she was still working overtime and that she was the only one left in the entire office. Emily Carter sent me a message, just arrived at the office, will be home soon. There were still 2 hours until midnight. When I was cleaning out my photo album, I found a photo of Emily Carter proposing to me. With a sudden thought, I posted a status update. Before I knew it, it's already been 5 years. Emily Carter quickly replied, more than 5 years. At the same time, she sent me a photo of the night view. The night view is beautiful tonight. It reminded me of you. I didn't reply. Because I knew that the high-rise buildings in the background of the photo weren't near the office, but downtown. That's where the city's most romantic restaurant was. Chad Evans couldn't help but post a post that only I could see. You said you married your dream girl, but I'm your red rose. In the lower left corner of the photo, Emily Carter's left hand without her wedding ring was particularly clear. There was 1 hour left until midnight. I curled up on the sofa, playing the wedding video from back then on a loop while eating the cake the delivery person brought me. I just didn't know why the cake tasted saltier and saltier. I thought I wouldn't like it anymore. There was half an hour left until midnight. Emily Carter stopped replying to my messages. I consciously stopped bothering her and turned to pack my luggage. There was 1 minute left until midnight. I took out the last apology coupon from the jar, ready to tear it up. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. I paused and hurriedly opened the door. Hello, this is a gift from Emily Carter. Please sign for it. The worker held a watch box, enthusiastic and attentive. At the same time, Emily Carter's message popped up. Sorry, I have to stay at the office tonight. Use the apology coupon if you want to. I'll bring you your favorite cake when I get home. I was about to reply when I accidentally knocked over the bookshelf. The wedding photo that had been placed on it for 5 years fell to the ground with a crash. The glass shards scattered all over the floor. The worker was startled and quickly asked me, "Sir, do you need help cleaning up?" I shook my head and replied on my phone, "No need to bring cake. Emily Carter, the apology coupons are all used up. Let's get a divorce." The next second, hundreds of messages flooded my phone. 5. I ignored the vibrations of my phone and turned it off. From this moment on, my 5-year marriage with Emily Carter came to an end. In the hotel, after seeing my message, Emily Carter began to frantically reply to me, "Divorce? Stop joking. How could so many apology coupons be used up so quickly? Don't you like the gift I sent? Then I'll choose a new one for you." "Ethan, answer the phone. Let's talk. Why did you turn it off? Are you really angry?" The woman refused to believe I would ignore her, dialing my number again and again. After hearing the cold prompt for the 39th time, Emily Carter finally began to panic. Impossible. Impossible. Everything was fine before I left. Her mind began to flash back to how calm I looked when I mentioned the apology coupons. So calm. Like I had already given up. Thinking of this, Emily Carter quickly grabbed her clothes and put them on. Chad Evans wrapped his arms around Emily Carter's neck, whining and snuggling into her arms. "Ms. Carter, you promised to spend the whole night with me." Emily Carter pushed him away anxiously, not explaining, and hurried out. Along the way, she kept dialing my number over and over, but I never answered. The moment she walked in the door, she stepped on the broken glass on the floor because she was walking too fast. The glass scraped against the ground, making a sharp sound. Only then did Emily Carter notice the things under her feet. Our wedding photo. The broken glass all over the floor had scratched the faces of the two people in the photo beyond recognition, just like our broken marriage. She slowly squatted down and picked up the wedding photo from the ground. She carefully wiped the glass shards off of it. Looking at the two young men and women in the photo looking at each other, both smiling so sweetly, the corners of Emily Carter's eyes began to turn red. After putting the photo back in its original place, Emily Carter began to search the house for my figure. After seeing the empty closet, she finally believed I had left. The woman slumped down in the living room, her eyes fixed on the TV screen in front of her, speechless for a long time. The wedding proposal video playing on a loop on the TV was the last thing in this house that was about me. She lowered her head, running her fingers deeply into her hair, carefully thinking about where I might have gone. As her eyes wandered around, she suddenly noticed the trash can next to her. The pile of pink fragments was so familiar. So familiar that she felt suffocated the moment she saw them. She slowly squatted down, not caring that the cream stains were getting her sleeves dirty. She picked up the fragments from the trash can little by little. She pieced them together little by little, being extremely careful. Not too many, not too few, exactly 99 apology coupons. She remembered 5 years ago, when she looked at the apology coupons and sincerely promised me, "Ethan, don't worry, I will never give you a chance to use them." She also remembered the scenes of her casually asking me to use the apology coupons again and again. The feeling she had worked so hard to build up had been squandered by her in the 2 years since Chad Evans appeared, until they were completely used up. Always very sensitive to numbers, she seemed to lose her sense of the number 99 as soon as she saw Chad Evans. Again and again, she used the apology coupons to smooth over my expectations, and again, she used gifts to make up for her debt to me. But she never felt there was anything wrong with doing so. Every time she broke a promise, she would buy me gifts to apologize. What else could I be dissatisfied with? Thinking of this, Emily Carter's eyes fell on the display cabinet in the living room. Then she froze again. The wall-to-wall window was filled with gifts she had given me. But if you looked closely, you would find 3 identical sets of watches placed in the center of the cabinet. One of the receipts was dated yesterday. Her mind inadvertently thought of the Van Cleef & Arpels Ponte Amuro watch she had given her young assistant yesterday. After seeing Chad Evans's thin figure, she immediately sent someone to France to have it custom-made. It was delivered to him that night. Both in terms of value and sentiment, it far exceeded everything in the cabinet in front of her. At this moment, Emily Carter fell into deep thought. From when did the unique love she had for me become a cheap, repetitive formality? That night, she sat in the living room, drinking all the wine in the wine cabinet, but couldn't find the answer she was looking for. 6. As soon as Emily Carter appeared at the office, Chad Evans followed her in. Ms. Carter, here's yesterday's contract. Chad Evans placed the document on the table, walking confidently to Emily Carter's side, placing a hand on her shoulder. In the past, this was a tacit understanding between the two of them. Now, Emily Carter suddenly felt uncomfortable. Sitting up straight, the woman opened the document, her brow furrowing after reading just one page. Even the most basic clauses were full of platitudes, showing no professionalism whatsoever. Not to mention the breach of contract clauses that could bankrupt the office. It was full of loopholes. In the past, before giving me each contract, I would look at it 3 times in detail, avoiding any risks that would affect the office's interests. Now this one. She slammed the document on the table, Emily Carter's tone icy as she spoke. Who made this report? Don't they have even the most basic workability? Call Ethan Carter here. I want to ask him if he even wants to be the director of legal affairs. Chad Evans' face turned ugly in an instant. Ms. Carter, I made it. All the anger turned to silence in an instant. Emily Carter glanced at Chad Evans, his eyes red and his face full of grievance. She felt a sense of powerlessness for the first time in her heart. He wiped his tears, looking pitiful. I'm sorry, Ms. Carter, it was my fault. Maybe I'm just like Ms. Carter said, unable to do this job and only causing you trouble. After saying that, he turned to leave. Emily Carter instinctively grabbed him, but suddenly froze when she met Chad Evans's pitiful eyes. Ethan Carter would never have such eyes. He was proud. No matter what happened, he would find a way to solve it, instead of being like Chad Evans. Even when facing her anger, Ethan Carter would rationally tell her, Chad Evans is careless. He's not suitable to be your assistant. So every time Chad Evans had a problem, Ethan Carter would be the one to come forward and solve it. So later, whenever Chad Evans had a problem, she would subconsciously push Ethan Carter forward. So, thinking of this, the words of comfort that Emily Carter was about to say instantly got stuck in her throat, and her hand gradually let go. You can go out first. Chad Evans's face turned red and then white, not getting the comfort he wanted, and almost burst into tears. When Emily Carter saw this, she rubbed her forehead impatiently. Redraft this contract and resubmit it after making sure there are no problems. Chad Evans bit his lip, finally leaving unwillingly. A colleague who had a good relationship with me secretly filmed the scene and then sent it to my phone. MS. Carter, that young assistant who always steals our achievements, was kicked out today. Haha, he deserves it. In the office, Emily Carter repeatedly dialed my number, but was never able to connect. Although she had been constantly comforting herself in her heart, seeing my constantly empty workplace still made her irritable. Even when handling work, she became careless. Emily Carter saw my empty workplace and her anxiety grew heavier and heavier. In the end, she couldn't help but call the Director of Human Resources. MS. Carter, is there any work you need to assign? Did Ethan take a day off today? The woman looked at the documents in front of her, speaking casually. The Director of Human Resources paused, looking at her with a confused expression. Mr. Carter resigned. What? Emily Carter's hand signing the document stopped abruptly, tearing the white paper with the pen. When did this happen? Who agreed? How come I don't know? The Director of Human Resources said with a puzzled expression, he submitted it last night, and you approved it this morning. These words made Emily Carter feel like she had been struck by something, stunned on the spot. Then, she opened her computer, quickly scanning the emails, and trembling, clicked on the only resignation application. Finally, after seeing the words Ethan Carter at the end, a huge sense of panic swept through her heart. Withdraw this application immediately. Immediately! The Director of Human Resources wiped the sweat from his forehead, saying in a trembling voice, MS. Carter, the process has already been completed. Outside the office, Chad Evans walked in with a document in his hand, with no hint of the grievance from just now in his eyes. In fact, he looked somewhat happy. MS. Carter, here's your fax. The woman's eyes scanned the words divorce agreement on the paper, and she slumped back into her chair. It took a long time before she recovered. Emily Carter took out her phone and made a call to a friend, her voice hoarse and muffled. Help me find out where this fax was sent from. 7. After hanging up the phone, Emily Carter stayed in the office until after work without coming out. Finally, she opened my office, sat in my chair, and looked at our photo on the desk, memories flashing through her mind. 9 years ago, Emily Carter and I met for the first time at a university debate. At that time, I was high-spirited, fighting fiercely, and silencing the other side with just a few words. Unsurprisingly, Emily Carter also became my defeated opponent. But she was a little different from the others. After the debate, when other people heard my name, their first impression was that I was strong, domineering, and difficult to deal with. But she said I was rational, wise, and decisive. From then on, she began to pursue me relentlessly. It took us 2 years from meeting to falling in love. It took us another 2 years from falling in love to getting married. She still vividly remembers the scene of my proposal. She remembers the feeling of excitement when I nodded with a red face, which made her ecstatic more than signing a contract worth $10 million. But later, problems began to appear in our relationship. But she wasn't sure where the problem was. She only felt that the distance between us was getting further and further. Many old colleagues noticed the changes between us and reminded her. But at that time, she had already become the CEO of the office, above all the employees except the president. She couldn't listen to a single word of her colleagues' advice. Thinking about it now, if she had listened to even one word back then, we wouldn't have ended up where we are today. A 9-year relationship ended like this, and anyone who heard about it would feel sorry for it. While lost in thought, the phone rang. The address has been found, but are you sure you want to go? You'll have to take a plane. Emily Carter's parents both died in a plane crash. Since then, planes and the sky have become her nightmare. Even for international business, she would send me, the person she trusted most, with the contract she had signed in advance to handle it. What exactly happened? Why do you suddenly want to go abroad? The person on the other end of the phone asked. Emily Carter was silent for a moment, then let out a breath. Ethan's gone. Ah. The person on the other end of the phone was a little shocked, but unexpectedly didn't continue to ask. I want to ask you something. Over the past 3 years, have you all thought that I've crossed the line with Chad Evans? Did you feel like I was being unfair to Ethan? Her words caused her friend on the other end of the line to fall silent. And silence is sometimes the best response. I understand. Emily Carter said with a bitter expression, it was my fault. Since Chad Evans appeared, I've been unconsciously attracted to him. I feel like he's sometimes like Ethan when he was younger, sunny and cheerful. But I shouldn't have confused them. Over the past 2 years, I used up the 99 chances Ethan gave me. I never thought about separating from him, but now he doesn't want me anymore. As she said this, the woman's voice became low and choked, with suppressed sobs. The person on the other end of the phone was silent for a long time before slowly saying, "Okay, I understand." After the phone hung up, a text message popped up on her phone. The fax was sent from here. You can ask around and should be able to find out his whereabouts. 8. After 10 hours, I successfully arrived in France. The moment I landed, my professor and colleagues from the law firm came to greet me, warmly welcoming me. This was my 3rd time coming to Paris. In the past, because of business trips, I would be called back to report immediately after signing the contract that day. Now, without the pressure of work, I felt particularly relaxed. From today onward, I only need to live for myself. And Emily Carter will never find me here. Ethan Carter, I'm so glad you've decided to join us. My return clearly moved my professor. Back in my university days, I was considered the most promising student, second only to my mentor, Serena Wood. Who knew that after getting together with Emily Carter, I would reject her offer to study abroad with her? I even threw away the future she had meticulously planned for me before she left. Before leaving, she looked at me earnestly, her eyes filled with regret and disappointment. Ethan Carter, you shouldn't confine yourself to your home. You were meant for bigger things. Fortunately, it's not too late to regret it now. Fortunately, there's still time. The divorce papers have already been sent. I've asked your mentor to handle the case for you, to ensure fairness. Saying the last word, my professor, who never usually showed any emotion, displayed a rare hint of anger. I smiled and winked at Serena Wood. Then I'll have to trouble my mentor to work hard. Once I get the money, I'll take everyone on a trip. Seeing the playfulness of my university days return, my professor finally calmed down. Let's go, I'll take you to the office to familiarize yourself with the new environment first. But I didn't expect to run into Emily Carter so soon. On my first official day at workplace, I saw Emily Carter's figure downstairs in the office. At first, I couldn't believe it. I rubbed my eyes several times before convincing myself I wasn't dreaming. Emily Carter looked much thinner, as if she was about to faint at any moment, but she stubbornly stood at the entrance, refusing to leave. Seeing me appear, she quickly walked towards me. I subconsciously took a step back, distancing myself from her. Noticing my alienation, a hurt expression appeared on her face. Ethan, don't be angry. It was my fault. These past 2 years, I paid too much attention to Chad Evans because I saw you in him from 9 years ago. I mistakenly thought I liked him. But after you left, I realized that what I thought was love was just an illusion. The person I truly love has always been you. I looked at her mockingly, suppressing the nausea churning in my stomach. The woman's self-righteous affection continued, I've been watching your performance all these years. Maybe it was the ability you showed at workplace that made me feel pressured. I feel like you've changed. Rational and strong, like a cold and ruthless machine. So when Chad Evans appeared, I subconsciously wanted to get close to him. I seemed to see you as I first met you in him. Ethan, I don't want a divorce, and I don't want to lose you. Can you forgive me this once, seeing as I'm willing to overcome my fear of going abroad for you? As she spoke, Emily Carter burst into tears, but my heart was filled with nothing but coldness. This was the woman I loved. She had clearly fallen for someone else, yet she was still trying to excuse herself. She even tried to attribute her affair to me. Because of my strength and rationality, she said I had changed. Because I made her feel pressured, she fell in love with Chad Evans. Those qualities she once praised to the heavens had now all become the source of her forced affair. How ridiculous! Wrong is wrong, and if you do something wrong, you must be brave enough to accept the consequences of betrayal. If an apology could be forgiven, then what do we need the police for? Emily Carter, we're over. With that, I walked past her and into the law firm. Emily Carter didn't pester me any further. She knew my personality. Once I made a decision, I would never turn back. But I saw her standing downstairs in the office all day, ignoring the strange looks from others, and disregarding the wind and sun. But what was the point of all this? Some feelings, once missed, are missed forever. For 2 years, I had given her 99 chances, and she had missed them all. She wasn't worth forgiving. For 7 whole days, Emily Carter appeared downstairs in the office, rain or shine. Every time she saw me, she had a sad expression on her face. She didn't pester me directly, but she managed to make everyone realize that our relationship was unusual. Serena would naturally notice Emily Carter. Every time she appeared, she would casually stuff a finalized divorce agreement into her arms. The two of them seemed to be competing silently. My professor didn't want her to affect my mood at workplace, so she arranged a team-building trip. During the team outing, I experienced many things that Emily Carter and I had planned for a long time but never had time to do. Skiing, mountain climbing, skydiving, seeing the northern lights. Everything made me feel that life was colorful and that marriage was nothing more than that. On my first day back at workplace, Emily Carter didn't appear. She left a message saying, "I won't give up," and returned to the U.S., busy cleaning up the mess Chad Evans had made at Carter Enterprises. My phone received messages from former colleagues every day. Young assistant, cried 3 times today after being scolded. Young assistant, was demoted to a regular assistant. Young assistant, was transferred to the administrative department as a regular clerk. In just 3 days, Chad Evans was demoted 3 times in a row, passively enduring Emily Carter's anger. I just smiled and continued to focus on my new job. My new life was gradually getting back on track. In just 6 months, I won 15 lawsuits and began to gain a small reputation in the industry. In my spare time, I would go boating in Venice or watch the sea in Sicily. When I was tired, I would occasionally stay in a Ligurian fishing village for a week. A year passed, and I successfully became a partner lawyer at the law firm, and my career was steadily rising. Everything was developing in a positive direction, except for the occasional gloomy feeling I got when I saw Emily Carter's sad expression downstairs. In the year since we separated, she had received 99 divorce agreements, but she still refused to sign. She seemed to want to muster the courage she had when she shamelessly pursued me, hoping to gain my sympathy and get me to agree to be with her again. At first, my heart would still flutter a little. But after seeing the messages my colleagues sent back, I extinguished that damn pity myself. Back in the U.S., Emily Carter found my parents and told them everything, tearfully expressing her regret. But she forgot that children inherit their personality from their parents. I can't tolerate any nonsense, let alone her daring to throw nonsense in my parents' faces. After listening, my mother kicked her out and immediately called me to support my decision to divorce. My originally uneasy heart was completely firm. After that, Emily Carter no longer appeared downstairs in the office. Until 2 years later, when I took on a case back in the US. Considering that we had been separated for 2 years and the divorce was already effective, I finally boarded a plane home. When the plane landed, my parents looked at my sunny and confident appearance, and their worries finally subsided. Thanks to Sarah sending us your photos and videos every day these past few years, we've been able to feel at ease. I turned to look behind me, a knowing smile on my face. MS. Wood, what's the penalty for violating someone's privacy? Serena Wood touched her nose, her ears as red as if they were about to bleed. Well, if there are special circumstances and family authorization, it can be considered. A small interlude diluted my parents' sadness. The group walked towards home, talking and laughing. Back at home, I learned from my father the reason for Emily Carter's disappearance. Chad Evans, in an attempt to climb the corporate ladder, sent his and Emily Carter's intimate photos to the media. The company had just gone public successfully when it was caught in a scandal, and its stock price plummeted. Those companies that had a good relationship with me immediately terminated their contracts. Several newly negotiated cooperation agreements were also affected by this incident, and the company lost nearly $10 billion, and they all demanded compensation for breach of contract. Emily Carter was furious and physically assaulted Chad Evans in the office, earning herself a 3-month prison sentence. Carter Enterprises couldn't hold on until Emily Carter got out and declared bankruptcy, officially insolvent. Chad Evans was removed from Carter Enterprises due to the scandal and was blacklisted by all companies. In the end, he could only work in a small restaurant, and he would occasionally receive glares and abuse from the landlady. The next time I saw Emily Carter was at a business celebration party. As the chief lawyer who helped the company successfully go public, I was treated as an honored guest. And in the corner, Emily Carter was holding a wine glass and trying to build relationships with partners she once looked down on. One glass after another. Just like how I used to drink myself to death to help her create a world of her own. The moment our eyes met, I saw embarrassment, shock, pain, and regret in her eyes. Across the crowd, I raised my glass to her from afar, and then slowly